Iraqis celebrate a milestone.
Our WorldWatch report focuses on the changes in this new democracy. National Sovereignty Day, that's what Iraqis are calling June 30th, when the U.S. officially handed over control of the security to the Iraqi military. And by the scenes in the streets this week, it's a moment the Iraqis have been waiting for.
What a difference 6 years makes. From Baghdad to Basra, from Kirkuk to Karbala, thousands of Iraqis took to the streets to celebrate the historic day.
Every Iraqi feels happy and pleased with this first step.
For the first time since the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, Iraqi forces have formal control of Baghdad and several key cities and towns across the country.
Nobody should underestimate the importance of this day and the importance of the withdrawal.
A sentiment echoed by the top U.S. military commander in the theater, who is confident that the Iraqis can handle the challenges.
I'm very confident that the Iraqis are on their way to clearly being able to defend themselves.
And what about those hundreds of thousands of American troops stationed in Iraq?
We are not leaving. We still will have 130,000 people on the ground on July 1st, as we did on June 30th. And we will be here to continue to train, advise. We'll continue to conduct full-spectrum operations. We'll continue to be in support of the Iraqi security forces.
Still, June 30th was, as the president of Iraq said, a turning point, and a lot is riding on this decision to pull out from the major cities.
I really hope it succeeds, because if it doesn't, then it's wasteful. Millions of dollars, American lives, Iraqi lives, civilians. It needs to succeed. It just has to.
But as Iraqis celebrated this milestone, a bombing in the northern city of Kirkuk was another deadly reminder of the daunting challenge still facing Iraq. At least 27 people died in the attack.
There are internal challenges, political challenges, and security challenges concerning the neighboring countries, which the government must be ready for.
Lee Webb, CBN News.
Now, George, you've been to Iraq several times. What's behind this outburst of joy that we see?
You have to realize, Charlene, that after 6 years, these guys have their own men and women protecting their streets. It's Iraqis, it's Shiites, it's Muslims, it's Sunnis that are protecting their streets, and the Americans have taken a backseat. So it is great, but you know, the reality is, as Lee said in this piece, the bombing in Kirkuk was another deadly reminder, another challenge that they realized, boy, we still have a big problem on our hands.
And how tough is the road ahead from here?
Look, I mean, the Iranians continue to meddle in this country. Iran and its surrogates continue to meddle in this country, and they don't want a peaceful Iraq, because Iraq borders the Iranian country, and they want Iraq to be constantly a boiling pot to keep the Americans busy, so to speak. So there are other unsavory characters that don't want Iraq to succeed.
You've also done a lot of stories about the church there. Yeah. What's the situation for the church?
You know, unfortunately, they are struggling. They are caught in the mix of this, and they've got some tough days ahead. You know, Christians have been the target of attacks from threats from radical Muslims. Last year, I visited a village near the northern town of Mosul, where Christians have taken an unusual step in protecting themselves. Take a look at my report. For years, Basha Karan ran a successful business selling hardware supplies. But he's given that up to stand with a Kalashnikov at the main entrance to Bartella, a large Christian village east of Mosul.
I wanted to protect my people. I felt I had a responsibility to look after them.
And he's not alone. 500 Iraqi Christians armed with heavy machine guns and assault rifles have taken an oath to protect this village of about 25,000 people.
We're not like other militias that have sprung up across Iraq. We don't go out killing people and causing chaos. We stand here with our guns just to protect our people.
And because it's just a few miles from Mosul, one of the most dangerous places here in Iraq, the commander of the Christian militia says security is a top priority.
Christians are facing a lot of pressure today in Iraq. In the past month, hundreds of Christians have fled for their lives from Mosul and other parts of the country. Many of them are here in our town, and we have to protect them.
250 Christian families have found refuge in Bartella's churches and schools.
Members of my family used to pay money to the insurgents in exchange for protection, but that didn't work. Even though we paid, they continued to harass us, and that's why we left.
Sunni insurgents are believed to be behind the campaign to drive them out.
They want, according to their doctrine, pure Islamic societies, as if these lands belong to them only. But no, it belongs to all who are residing in these areas.
Islamic extremists have frequently targeted Christians and other religious minorities in Iraq since the 2003 US-led invasion, forcing tens of thousands to flee the country. The Islamic radicals have killed more than a dozen Christians during the recent violence in Mosul.
The terrorists want to kill us Christians. If we don't defend ourselves, who will?
There are about 12 different entry points into the village of Bartella. They're all manned by the Christian militia, but in addition to manning these checkpoints, they also conduct regular night patrols.
We're constantly on the lookout for any suspicious activity or persons. We do house-to-house searches and check on people to make sure they're all right.
Earlier this year, a series of bombs exploded outside churches and a monastery in Mosul. Since then, all the churches in this village are closely guarded by Christians.
We search every car that comes into this area for bombs or guns.
And those joining the ranks of the Christian militia are said to be growing. Today, some 5,000 are serving across this part of northern Iraq.
Each guard gets roughly $200 per month.
It's barely enough to support Bashar Salam's family of 3, but he says it's not about the money.
We just want to live in peace and enjoy our rights as Christians, and this is the least I can do for my people.